Hello and welcome again to Brockholes Lane TMD. This is the Class 37 I bought at Warley, out of the box and in the sunshine. You can see it's factory weathered, which I think is just a little bit too heavy for my liking, so I'm going to attempt to clean it up slightly. I'll do a couple of other things to it. I don't like the copper strips you can see there between the wheels, so I'll get rid of those as well. I'm looking at renumbering it possibly, although I haven't got the proper transfers for it at the moment, so I may or may not. I'm also going to change the I don't like the white marker lights on the front there. I think there should be a slightly darker greyer colour, so I'll do that as well. I'm going to redo the weathering on the base to my standard sort of rail match mix of frame dirt and roof grey, just to make it fit in with the rest of my models. It's a nice looking model. Bachmann's weathering is a little bit hit and miss, and sometimes it's not bad actually. I wouldn't be too bad if I can't get in. I won't be too disappointed if I can't get some of the weathering off. But I would prefer it a little bit cleaner on the body sides. The other one is the Class 31, which I've now renumbered. The transfers are just setting on there. This is now 31327, which had unique large numbers on the side and also on the front there as well. Looking at photographs, it had an high intensity headlight on as well, which I may or may not put on, not decided as of yet. This will also get weathered as well to some degree. Other thing I picked up at Warley was some of these AWS ramps from Pico, which I've just started painting up, yellow and a grey beigey colour, which I'm going to weather again, and I'll be installing those as well. Here's a picture of the real engine I've found on the internet. You'll notice those numbers on the front have actually been covered up by a high intensity headlight, so I might purchase one replica, do one to put up at the top of the numbers in a sort of haphazard way like they've done there. This engine was also named originally, but at this stage, as you can see, the numbers were taken off, the nameplates were taken off, sorry, and it was getting rather grubby, so this is the condition I'm going to model it in, I think. The locomotive is actually preserved today, but you can see they've altered things since preservation. The numbers moved to that side, away from under the high intensity headlight. So if you're looking for pictures on the internet, just make sure you get the right date for when you're going to model it. Also white buffers on that on the preserved example as well. And the locomotive was at one time named with this rather attractive combination of plates. I'm not going to put those on though, because I've already got a named 31 and I think 2, especially with the plates like that. Like my other model would be a bit overkill. And there it is again at one of my favourite locations at Peak Forest in Derbyshire, coupled up to a Dutch skinhead version, which is kind of similar to the one I've got. Now back to the 37. I've managed to get quite a lot of the weathering off the side of the body, with the exception of around the grills and the details which still retain some around the edge, which is quite realistic anyway. Now, I did have a mishap on removing the dirt. The numbers also came off, so that's made the decision to renumber it an easy one. What I've used is cotton bud and a downward motion, and I've used surgical spirit, which is this stuff which I bought from Boots. It's harmful stuff, so kids don't, or at least be very careful if you're going to use this. Now it's taken quite a while. Downward strokes, so if it does leave a mark, it looks like rain has run down the body sides. Either that or with a cotton bud. Taking care over the stripes on here. Luckily, nothing apart from the numbers has come off on this one. And it's still a dirty engine, but it's not quite as dirty as Bachmann did it, and I'm quite pleased with the effect. I've also got rid of the copper strips by painting them track colour. That's still Bachmann's dirt on the bogies there. Right, the 37's now had a underframe re-weathered with a 50-50 mix of rail match, frame dirt and roof grey, and so has the Class 31. So hopefully, I've also weathered the Class 31 slightly, or at least a first pass. The roof needs more work though. But you can see that the two are looking more like they go together, than they match one another, the weathering, I mean. And they could be seen on the same loco depot, or the same area of the country together. I've also now got rid of the white marker lights at the front of the Class 37 by just putting a little blob of darker grey paint on, which I prefer the look of. The lights will still shine through the paint, and it won't make a big difference to that. I just think it makes it look more realistic. Also, the high intensity headlight has had a spot of lighter colour than it previously was. So here we are, they're about finished now. The Class 31's had a final weathering on the roof with a slightly darker grey colour. It's also had the KDs fitted now. The marker lights there have been picked out in a slightly lighter grey. A little bit of final weathering on the bogies, a little bit of a matte black wash to highlight some of the details. And I think that's looking pretty good now. The mainline 37 is also about finished now. It's now become 37216. Again, found from photographs on the internet. Ends have now been detailed. There's still some KDs to go on there, which I need to order. I'll just trim the cables off there, leaving the heads so the coupling can swing round. And also, you see it's got a bit of a sheen to it now, whereas it didn't before. Just polish that up using a guitar polish, which I've discovered because I use it on my guitars, but I also tried it on some models once, and it's like a waxy, glossy appearance it gives models, and it gives it quite a nice deep shine on this particular blue. And if you're interested in the glossy effect I've got on that model, which isn't permanent, unlike gloss varnish, this is the product I use, which is a Gibson guitar pump polish. It's like a waxy furniture polish, I suppose, which you just rub on the side, and I find it gives a nice X-Works finish to models, particularly preserved steam engines, which I've used on a couple of times. So thank you very much for watching. I think these two locals will fit quite nicely into my layout, and you'll probably see them running next time. Thank you very much, and I'll see you again. Bye bye.